as the world wraps itself in winter's calm. Old squares shimmer with candles and wreaths. Narrow lanes glow with the scent of gingerbread and warm wine. And distant spires fade gently into falling snow. Along the rivers, reflections dance on the water. As Christmas markets hum with violins, laughter, and quiet joy. Somewhere, rooftops sleep beneath a blanket of snow, deep in pine forests. Elsewhere, fireworks bloom over a calm sea beneath the winter sky. Each corner of the world holds its own kind of wonder. A candle in a window, a song beneath a vaulted ceiling. A moment where warmth defies the cold. And no matter where you stand, when these sounds return, the bells, the snow, the voices, you'll know it's here again. The season when the world glows in winter. And beyond the quiet glow, somewhere in the heart of this season, a city awaits, wrapped in light, waiting to be discovered. Vienna. At its heart, Vienna is a city where grandeur and quietude meet, balancing imperial legacy with everyday life. Along the wide, tree-lined boulevards and beneath Baroque facades, the Austrian capital shimmers with soft, golden light, echoing with the melodies of distant street performers and the steady rhythm of horse-drawn carriages on stone. Over centuries, Vienna has served as the seat of the Habsburg dynasty, shaping the course of Central European history from the Hofburg Palace, whose sprawling halls stretch more than 1,300 feet, or about 400 meters, along the city's core. Walking here, you sense a reverence for both tradition and change, a city that honors its musical masters and ancient coffee houses, yet hums with innovation and youthful energy. There is a gentle tension between the hushed splendor of its opera halls and the playful laughter from bustling outdoor markets. In Vienna, the past and present continually converse, inviting every traveler to pause and consider how the world's great cities nurture both memory and possibility. Strasbourg, a city where borders blur, Strasbourg stands as a living testament to the lasting interplay between cultures. Along the banks of the River Ill, in France's Grand Est region, half-timbered houses line cobbled streets, their pastel facades reflected in gentle waters, while the spires of Strasbourg Cathedral rise over bustling cafes and quiet squares. For centuries, Strasbourg has shifted between French and German rule, shaping its identity through conflict and compromise, with its Gothic cathedral, begun in the 12th century, soaring more than 460 feet, or about 140 meters above the city. Walking here, you sense both the resilience and warmth of a place welcoming yet ever changed, where voices mingle in French, German, and Alsatian. The city's past and present coexist. Old-world charm meets modern European vibrancy, unity alongside difference. In Strasbourg, the idea of belonging feels as fluid as the river, always moving, always inviting questions about connection, identity, and the gentle weaving of old and new. Prague. At its heart, Prague is a city where centuries live side by side, gently unfolding the layered story of a region shaped by both resilience and dream. Along the winding banks of the Vltava River in the Czech Republic, the iconic spires of Old Town rise above cobbled lanes, while the red rooftops of historic homes glow as daylight fades to dusk. Once the seat of Bohemian kings and a jewel of the Holy Roman Empire, Prague endured sweeping reforms, occupations, and revolutions, its monumental Charles Bridge standing strong since the 14th century, stretching more than 1,600 feet, or around 500 meters, across the water. There is a quiet persistence felt here, the grace of survival in a city that has rebuilt itself without losing the echoes of the past. Prague holds both silence and song, memories of turmoil, nestled alongside vibrant cafe laughter and artistic rebirth. In this place, the spirit of transformation lingers, suggesting that history's most enchanting cities are never truly finished, but forever unfolding in the hearts of those who wander through them. Nuremberg, the soul of remembrance, lingers within this storied city, a place where echoes of history shape both identity and perspective. Beneath wide Bavarian skies, Nuremberg's old town unfurls with its half-timbered houses, rose-hued spires, and the winding stone corridors of the Pegnitz River, all settled at the heart of southern Germany. Once a cradle of art and governance in the medieval Holy Roman Empire, Nuremberg witnessed both grandeur and shadow, serving as the site for the famed rallies and later the reckonings of the Nuremberg trials in the Grand Palace of Justice, whose vaulted halls still echo with the pursuit of justice. Wandering its cobblestone passages, there's a weight, yet also a resilience, that stirs reflection about how a city can hold both scars and hope in equal measure. Here, vibrant markets and quiet memorials exist side by side, a gentle reminder that the tapestry of a place is woven from contrasts, not only triumph or loss. In the persistent hush after the bells, Nuremberg's calm begs a question. In all our journeys, how do the places we visit help us carry what must never be forgotten? Dresden, a city where resilience and beauty intertwine, Dresden stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of Saxony and Germany. Along the soft curve of the Elbe River, Baroque spires and golden domes rise above red-tiled roofs, while quiet cobbled streets carry whispered echoes of centuries gone by. Once heralded as the Florence on the Elbe for its artistic brilliance, Dresden flourished as a center of culture and learning before the devastating bombing of February 1945, when more than 3,000 tons, or nearly 2,800 metric tons, of explosives reduced much of the old city to ruins, yet its people painstakingly rebuilt landmarks like the Frauenkirche stone by resplendent stone. Wandering its plazas today, there's a gentle ache, an awareness of loss entwined with hope that makes each restored archway shimmer with poignancy. Years of darkness are balanced by radiant renewal, history's scars softened by the luminous evening light that settles quietly on reconstructed facades. In Dresden, the past is never distant, inviting travelers everywhere to reflect on the fragile brilliance of what people can both destroy and lovingly restore. Munich, at its heart, Munich invites us to explore a city where centuries-old tradition and vibrant modern life intertwine. Cobbled streets weave through bustling plazas, while the spires of the Frauenkirche rise gently over Bavaria's capital, casting long shadows on beer gardens and quiet courtyards. Once a medieval market founded in the 12th century, Munich has withstood wars, fires, and the tides of change, emerging as a hub of culture known for both its historic architecture and the annual celebration of Oktoberfest that draws millions to the south of Germany. There's an unobtrusive warmth in the city's rhythm. Locals gathering under chestnut trees, the echo of laughter rising with the chimes of old clocks, reminding us of the value of community. Yet, beneath its festive traditions, lies a city shaped by both triumph and turmoil, proud heritage and modern innovation. In the blend of the past and present, on these Bavarian streets, we see how the character of a place is carried forward, always searching for its next chapter amid enduring echoes. Cologne Cathedral, an eternal silhouette against the Rhine. This towering Gothic masterpiece captures the spirit of endurance and aspiration. Rising above the city of Cologne in western Germany, its twin spires climb more than 515 feet, or about 157 meters, piercing the sky with intricate stone lacework and casting deep shadows over bustling squares below. Construction began in the 13th century and remarkably stretched across more than 600 years before the final stones were placed in 1880, a testament to faith and perseverance that withstood wars, changing empires, and the ravages of time. Inside, colored sunlight filters through stained glass, echoing centuries of prayer and silent awe, while outside, the world changes, fast and noisy, almost unaware of the slow endurance behind these walls. It is a place balanced on the edge of sacred devotion and human achievement, at once fragile and indestructible. Here, looking up, one can sense the unending journey of people reaching upwards towards something greater, a longing that crosses borders and centuries alike. Frankfurt, a city where centuries of reinvention have shaped both skyline and spirit. Along the banks of the Main River, in Hesse, Germany, glass towers rise beside timbered old houses, their sharp geometries glowing gold at sunset as the bells of St. Bartholomew's Cathedral echo over the urban hush. For more than 1,000 years, Frankfurt stood at the crossroads of Europe, serving as imperial election ground and bustling medieval market, and later witnessing the ravages and rebirth that came with war and prosperity. Here, past and future are neighbors, a city that quietly invites you to sense both the resilience in its new steel and the humility in its ancient stones. Old cobblestone lanes give way to highways of commerce, each step holding an unspoken tension between preservation and progress. In this place, as elsewhere, the question remains: how does a city carry forward its soul, even as it changes its face? Berlin, a city where the pulse of modern life collides with echoes of a divided past. Streets unfold in broad avenues and tangled lanes, lined with sleek glass towers and the defiant remnants of old stone, set against the ever-changing sky of Germany's capital. Once split in two by the Berlin Wall, an unyielding barrier that stretched for nearly 96 miles, or about 155 kilometers, Berlin became a living symbol of Cold War tensions and later a beacon of reunification when the wall finally fell in 1989. Walking these streets now, you might sense both the weight of history and the invigoration of a culture always reinventing itself, caught between remembrance and renewal. Here, stories of suffering blend gently with bursts of art and laughter, resilience tracing the cracks left behind. Berlin quietly reminds us that cities, like people, can heal from division while carrying it, sharing their stories with all who listen. Zurich. At the heart of Switzerland's largest city, Zurich stands as a reflection of both innovation and tradition, cradled by alpine peaks and the gentle turn of the Limmat River. Along the historic Old Town, medieval guild halls and red-tiled rooftops frame the skyline, while streetcars glide past lakeside promenades and softly echo against centuries-old stone. Once an outpost of Roman times and later the nurturing ground for the Protestant Reformation, Zurich has since grown into a cultural and financial crossroads for Europe, where global banks rise beside ancient clock towers, some reaching nearly 120 feet, or roughly 36 meters. Walking these calm cobblestone streets, there is a sense of order, laced with creativity. A city that quietly pulses with both precision and possibility. Yet beneath the meticulous facades, Zurich's soul is shaped by its contrasts between historic restraint and youthful energy, between sparkling lake waters and the rush of urban life. In a world constantly changing, Zurich invites us to pause and wonder how a place can hold so many eras in a single breath. Lucerne, a city that embodies the gentle intersection of past and present. Lucerne is where Swiss tradition finds harmony beside tranquil alpine waters. Morning light drapes across the quietly rippling surface of Lake Lucerne, with the snow-dusted peaks beyond, and the delicate spires and rooftops of the canton of Lucerne, rising from the old town's cobbled heart. The Kapellbrücke, or Chapel Bridge, with its timber span reaching more than 660 feet, just over 200 meters, first connected communities here as far back as the 14th century, surviving fires and wars to become a symbol of both resilience and unity. Walking beneath its ancient eaves, you can feel the centuries gather in the cool air, the distant voices of medieval merchants and modern travelers mingling in the same gentle breeze. Lucerne drifts between stillness and vitality, a lakeside town where quiet evenings follow lively days, the old and new in silent conversation. In this peaceful Swiss enclave, you're reminded that places can hold both memory and possibility, forever inviting us to listen closely to the stories written between stone, water, and sky. Geneva. On the quiet edge of alpine foothills, Geneva stands as a city both shaped by water and by the ceaseless flow of ideas. Along the shores of Lake Geneva, in southwestern Switzerland, glassy waters mirror rows of centuries-old facades as the Jet d'eau fountain lifts a shimmering plume nearly 450 feet, or about 137 meters, into the crisp air. For centuries, Geneva has been a crossroads of diplomacy, notably since the 16th century, when it became a center of the Reformation, and later, headquarters for the Red Cross and the United Nations. Walking its tree-lined promenades, the peaceful hum conceals the bustle of international negotiation, a reminder that calm often masks complexity. Light and shadow play across cobblestone lanes, hinting at the city's dual role as both a safe haven and a stage for global challenge. A place like Geneva quietly asks, how do cities shape our world beyond what we see at the surface? Salzburg, the essence of Salzburg, is found in the harmony between music and mountains, where centuries of culture echo beneath towering peaks. From the banks of the Salzach River, rows of Baroque spires and pastel-hued facades stretch across the old town, their silhouettes framed by the imposing Hohensalzburg fortress and the gentle rise of the Austrian Alps. Once the independent seat of Prince Archbishops, Salzburg thrived as a crossroads of trade and art, giving birth, in 1756, to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, whose legacy still lingers in cobblestone lanes and gilded concert halls. Wandering here, there's a calm sense of wonder. Each echoing church bell and distant melody invites visitors to slow down and breathe in the timeless rhythm of Austrian life. Yet behind every ornate facade lies the tension between quiet tradition and the pulse of modern creativity. In this city where alpine air mixes with grand symphonies, you sense how places, like people, are shaped by the melodies they carry forward. Innsbruck, a crossroads of mountain spirit and European heritage, where tradition meets the restless flow of time. Cascading beneath the jagged, snow-dusted peaks of the Tyrolean Alps, the city of Innsbruck in western Austria glows with pastel-colored houses set against the deep blue ribbon of the Inn River. For centuries, Innsbruck served as an imperial seat, gaining significance when Emperor Maximilian I made it his home in the late 15th century, shaping the city with grand Habsburg architecture that survives to this day. Here, the crisp alpine air carries echoes of medieval markets and Olympic cheers, inviting visitors to pause between worlds, the serenity of mountain silence and the hum of urban life. It is a place both shaped by the permanence of stone and by the ever-changing rhythm of the seasons. As sunlight fades into the valley, Innsbruck whispers of how landscapes and people can merge to create stories still unfolding beyond the alpine horizon. Paris. At its heart, Paris is a living testament to the enduring dialogue between beauty and transformation. Along the banks of the Seine, sunlight glimmers on ancient stone bridges, and the soft golden facades of Haussmann-era boulevards blend seamlessly with vibrant street life, anchoring the city's soul in both old and new. Over centuries, from the crowning glories of Notre Dame to the modern silhouette of the Eiffel Tower, the capital of France has reinvented itself, shaped by revolution, creativity, and a relentless pursuit of art and liberty. Wandering Paris evokes a gentle awe. Here, each corner seems to hold a quiet promise that life can be both delicate and grand. Day and night, Paris offers a serene paradox, where order meets spontaneity and tradition dances with restless innovation. In every city across the world, echoes of Paris remind us that reinvention and grace can coexist, inspiring new dreams with every sunrise. Bruges, a city cradled in time, Bruges quietly celebrates the enduring beauty of preservation and quiet wonder. Cobbled streets curl past medieval facades reflected in gentle canals, while the soft chime of the belfry rises above the rooftops of this ancient Belgian town. Once a bustling medieval trading port, Bruges in West Flanders flourished from the 12th through 15th centuries. Its golden era, fueled by textiles and merchants coming from distant shores, with the canals themselves carved by hand to connect trade across more than 10 miles or roughly 16 kilometers of waterways. There is a hush here, as if every arched bridge remembers the footsteps of generations, infusing the air with a reverent calm. Bruges lives in gentle contrast. Tranquil squares echo with centuries of commerce, while tourists and locals alike stroll beneath Gothic arches worn smooth by time. The city's story lingers in every stone and ripple, a living tapestry inviting the world to pause and listen to its ongoing silence. Brussels, a crossroads of cultures and ideas, Brussels stands as the quiet heart of Belgian identity. Soft morning light washes over intricate guild halls and grand plazas, while the scent of warm waffles drifts through the cobbled streets of Belgium's bustling capital. Here, the iconic Grand Place has anchored city life for centuries, rebuilt with pride after war in the late 17th century, and now crowned as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Walking these avenues, one cannot help but feel both the weight of history and the gentle pulse of modern Europe, layered together under the ever-watchful gaze of the town hall's spire, soaring more than 315 feet, or about 96 meters above the square. Brussels holds a subtle tension between ancient tradition and cosmopolitan dynamism, each moment oscillating between preservation and progress. In this city, every quiet alley and grand boulevard seems to echo the ongoing conversation of continents, reminding us that the story of place is always unfinished and always shared. Amsterdam, a city built on water and daring vision. Amsterdam embodies the spirit of openness and reinvention. Canals cut gentle ribbons through the heart of the Dutch capital, their reflections carrying centuries of history beneath bridges draped with golden light and bicycles leaning casually against weathered brick. Founded as a humble fishing village along the banks of the Amstel River, Amsterdam grew across reclaimed land in the late 13th century, blossoming into a global trading power by the 17th century. Its houses, perched atop wooden piles driven more than 30 feet, or about 9 meters, into the marshy earth. There's a sense of quiet freedom in the way locals glide along narrow lanes, as if the city's openness is woven into the daily rhythm. Yet, within the intimate maze of alleyways and the openness of vibrant squares, restraint coexists with liberation, each moment balanced between the past and the ever-shifting present. In Amsterdam, the interplay of water, light, and human will quietly widens our sense of where imagination can take root. Copenhagen. At the heart of Denmark, Copenhagen reveals itself as a place where centuries-old tradition and innovative spirit come together effortlessly. Colorful houses along Nyhavn shimmer against the calm water, while the distant hum of bicycles fills the air beneath the open sky of the capital region. Founded in the 10th century as a small Viking fishing village, Copenhagen has grown into a thriving city known for its commitment to sustainability, its royal heritage, and the enduring presence of the Tivoli Gardens, a park that has enchanted visitors since 1843. There's a sense of gentle invitation permeating this city, as if each cobblestone street urges you to slow down and watch the world unfold. Here, historic palaces share the skyline with sleek modern design, offering a quiet dialogue between past and future. In this Nordic crossroads, the rhythm of daily life feels both ordinary and magical, a reminder that even in the most settled places, curiosity has room to wander. Stockholm, a city shaped by water and light, Stockholm pulses with a quiet resilience that bridges centuries. Gliding between 40 islands, its pastel facades and copper spires rise above tranquil blue harbors, where old wooden boats bob beside sun-kissed piers in the heart of Sweden's capital. Founded more than 700 years ago, Stockholm has grown from a medieval stronghold, defending trade routes, into the seat of Swedish royalty and modern innovation. Its cobbled alleys of Gamla Stan echoing with tales of both peace and upheaval. There's a gentle warmth here, where long summer days and dark winter nights remind locals of constant change and subtle beauty. This is a place of memory and momentum, where ancient defenses meet open-minded progress, and where the stillness of the islands contrasts with the hum of everyday city life. And as the Nordic sun bends across the Baltic, Stockholm seems to ask how tradition and transformation might coexist, not just here, but wherever water finds its way to the shore. Helsinki, a city where northern resilience meets creative spirit. Helsinki quietly embodies the enduring character of Finland's south coast. Along the shores of the Gulf of Finland, rows of pastel Art Nouveau buildings stand beside icy harbors, while trams glide through the tree-lined boulevards of the bustling city. Founded in the early 16th century and shaped by centuries of Swedish and Russian influence, Helsinki became Finland's capital in 1812, growing steadily through wars and winters into a vibrant cultural hub. There's a gentle order to its rhythm. Quiet coffee houses filled with laughter, open-air markets alive with the scent of cinnamon, and the hush of sea fog wrapping the city in soft light. Here, modern architecture and traditions coexist, revealing a delicate balance between innovation and heritage. In Helsinki, every silent snowflake and sunlit street invites a feeling of possibility, hinting at how places far from the center can still shape the soul of a nation. Rovaniemi, at the very edge of the Arctic Circle, Rovaniemi is where wonder and wilderness meet, inviting travelers to seek both magic and meaning within the endless northern light. Snow-blanketed pines stretch on around this Finnish town, where rooftops peak above drifts, and the Kemi River carves a silent path under thick ice, all illuminated by ribbons of green and violet auroras rippling across the night sky. Destroyed almost entirely during the Second World War and rebuilt with careful purpose, Rovaniemi became the administrative heart of Lapland. And in the decades since, it has embraced its new legacy as the official hometown of Santa Claus, drawing visitors from across the globe. Standing here, with each breath crisp and sharp, you can feel both the weight of loss and the resilience of hope, an enduring spirit shaped by fire and frost. The town lives between extremes, darkness and dazzling light, deep traditions, and the irresistible pull of modern curiosity. And in that restless twilight, it quietly reminds us how places on the edge can become centers of belonging and imagination for the world beyond. Riga, where the Daugava River flows softly beneath a silhouette of spires, this city stands as both guardian and gateway of the Baltic. Sunlight glances off Art Nouveau facades, casting gentle patterns onto the cobbled lanes that wind through Latvia's capital, inviting quiet footsteps and wandering eyes alike. Founded in the late 12th century, Riga has, for over 800 years, been a crossroads, a melting pot shaped by German knights, Swedish kings, Russian tsars, and Soviet ambitions, each leaving enduring marks in more than just stone. There is a hush here, stirred by the distant toll of church bells, reminding even the hurried traveler that cities can remember and forgive. Life pulses between old and new. Bustling markets brush shoulders with solemn medieval towers, and modern cafes rise where merchants once traded amber and salt. To walk Riga's streets is to move gently through time, carrying silent echoes outward toward every city that questions how to honor its past while shaping its present. Edinburgh, a city where ancient stones and restless minds have shaped a landscape of imagination and resilience. Along the winding streets of Scotland's hilly capital, castles and spires rise above waves of slate roofs, cloaked in shifting mists and the hush of distant bagpipes. For nearly a millennium, Edinburgh has stood as the heart of Scottish identity, its old town and new town together forming a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with Edinburgh Castle dominating a volcanic crag some 430 feet, or around 130 meters above the city below. There is a quiet awe that settles here, a sense of walking through centuries, following in the footsteps of poets, philosophers, and everyday souls, all searching for expression among the city's labyrinthine closes. It is a place defined by opposites, solid stone buildings and ephemeral festivals, medieval echoes and the pulse of innovation. What draws travelers to Edinburgh today is not just the promise of history, but also the enduring invitation to discover how the spirit of a city can shape the stories we carry with us. London. Beneath the patient gaze of ancient clock towers, London holds fast to its legacy as a crossroads of stories and empires. Along the winding River Thames, the city pulses with subdued energy. Red double-decker buses glide past centuries-old stone facades, and the air is thick with the scent of rain on warm pavement, mingling with the distant chime of Big Ben in the heart of England's capital. For nearly 2,000 years, London has grown from a Roman outpost into a sprawling metropolis, its skyline now a mosaic of medieval spires and glass skyscrapers, each brick and beam layered with the ambitions and upheavals of kings, poets, and everyday dreamers. There is a distinct stillness found amid the bustle, a quiet pride in endurance, a soft ache for the echoes that linger behind each corner. Here, grandeur and grit coexist, as royal tradition meets the restless swirl of modern life. In London's ever-shifting balance, we are reminded that history is not only recorded, but lived, each day in stories left unfinished on its rain-slicked streets. New York City, at its heart, New York City embodies the persistence of dreams, a place where ambition shapes even the skyline. The rippling expanse of Central Park to the bustling tempo of Manhattan's avenues, the layered cityscape of this iconic corner of the United States pulses with unmistakable life, sunlight glinting off glass towers as shadows dance below. Founded in the early 17th century as New Amsterdam, these streets have witnessed waves of arrival and invention, from the towering completion of the Statue of Liberty to the deep roots of jazz in Harlem, each era leaving imprints that echo upward with every new story built. Though the city may dazzle with its energy and enormity, it's the quiet moments, the early morning stillness before the subway stirs, or the hush in a neighborhood cafe, that reveal a softer, more human rhythm. Chicago, defined by resilience and constant reinvention, Chicago stands as the beating heart of the American Midwest. Along Lake Michigan's shimmering edge, the city's skyline rises in silver and glass, while the historic streets of Illinois pulse with life beneath the shadows of soaring towers and leafy parks. Born from the ashes of the Great Fire of 1871, Chicago rebuilt itself with ambition, giving birth to modern skyscrapers, vibrant jazz, and a spirit of industrious creativity that shaped both the city and the nation. There's a distinct comfort in the city's hum, a blend of grit and warmth, bustling marketplaces echoing with voices and music, yet always room for a quiet moment along the Riverwalk. Here, steel and tradition find harmony, as innovation sits side by side with centuries-old neighborhoods, revealing both the city's bold progress and its embrace of diverse roots. Quebec City, a walled citadel of culture and memory, Quebec City stands as a vibrant testament to resilience and French heritage. Along the bluffs of the St. Lawrence River in eastern Canada, steep rooftops gleam in morning light, and cobbled streets of old Quebec twist beneath stone fortifications, their colors warming the chill air. Founded as a fur trading post in the early 16th century, this city grew into the heart of New France, its massive ramparts rising more than 30 feet high, or about 9 meters, making it the only fortified city north of Mexico whose walls still embrace a living community. Here, every corner echoes with footsteps from centuries past, inviting reflection on the passage of stories and peoples. Within those thick walls, winter's hush softens summer's vibrant festivals, creating a gentle meeting point between endurance and celebration. In a world forever shifting, Quebec City reminds us that identity and tradition can both anchor and set us free. Montreal, a city shaped by centuries of coexistence, Montreal's essence lies in the art of blending contrasts into one harmonious rhythm. Cobblestone streets wind through old Montreal, where French facades brush shoulders with lively cafes and murals splashed in every shade, all set against the broad St. Lawrence River in Quebec, Canada. Founded as Ville-Marie in the 17th century, Montreal grew from a fur trading post into the largest French-speaking metropolis outside of France, a testament to stubborn spirit and evolving identity. Wandering here evokes the quiet assurance of belonging to a place that welcomes difference, where bagels and smoked meat meet poutine, and ears tune to both English and French whispers. Bright summers yield to snowy winters. Old churches rise beside skyscrapers, and every corner seems to promise possibility and memory at once. Montreal opens itself endlessly, always inviting those who arrive to find their own meaning in its seamless mix of tradition and change. Vancouver, a city where the rhythm of nature pulses through urban life. Vancouver invites you to discover harmony between wild beauty and human ambition. Glass towers frame snow-capped mountains, while mist coils above the vast harbor of British Columbia, Canada, and waves press softly against shores lined with ancient evergreens. Founded in the late 19th century as a small coastal settlement, Vancouver has grown over more than 130 years into a vibrant metropolis, deeply shaped by First Nations, Asian immigration, and a spirit of ecological stewardship. There is a quiet pride here, visible in the commuters cycling beside the ocean, in neighborhoods where a dozen languages are spoken beneath cherry blossoms, and in the gentle hush of evening rain. City and wilderness blend, yet sometimes remain at odds, the push of progress shadowing the pull of the land's ancient calm. Perhaps in places like this, the world is reminded that every thriving city still draws breath from the forests and waters beyond. Tokyo, at its heart, Tokyo is a city defined by contrasts and continuous renewal, where centuries-old tradition pulses next to the shimmer of neon futures. Beneath the ever-changing skyline of Japan's capital, delicate cherry blossoms flutter along the Sumida River as bullet trains flash past ancient temples and quiet alleyways hum with nocturnal energy. Since emerging from the ruins of the Edo period, Tokyo has transformed itself repeatedly, growing into a metropolis of over 13 million people and weaving together remnants of shogunate rule, post-war resilience, and voracious innovation. Here, you might feel both awe and comfort, drawn to the gentle harmony in a tea ceremony, or the silent solitude found in a tucked-away shrine, even as the crowded city vibrates all around. Osaka Castle, a symbol of resilience rising from the heart of Japan's Kansai region, Osaka Castle stands as a reminder of ambition and renewal. Its white walls gleam beneath the shifting clouds, while moats and cherry trees weave through the vivid city of Osaka, where centuries of history blend with modern life. Originally built in the late 16th century by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the fortress once dominated the city from its stone base climbing over 130 feet, or nearly 40 meters high, shaping the fate of feudal Japan through war and rebuilding. Standing here, you sense both triumph and loss held quietly between the stones, a reminder that places, like people, can endure change and come alive again. Sydney, here at the edge of the continent, Sydney stands as both a gateway and a sanctuary, capturing the restless spirit and serenity that define Australia. Sunlight shimmers on the blue expanse of Sydney Harbour, painting the sails of the Opera House with shifting shadows, while the city's skyline rises beyond, a tapestry of glass, iron, and sandstone stretching from the bustling circular quay to the gentle arc of Bondi Beach. Established as a British penal colony in 1788, this city has transformed over more than 2 centuries, from the stories of the ancient Gadigal people to its role as a modern metropolis. Sydney has woven together cultures and dreams from every corner of the world. There's a gentle tension here. The pulse of urban life syncs with the endless rhythm of the Pacific Ocean, evoking both excitement and quiet longing. Melbourne. This is a city where creative energy moves quietly beneath daily routines, inviting deeper discovery with each step. In Victoria's bustling capital, tree-lined avenues frame old bluestone laneways, while trams rattle past murals and evening lights reflect on the Yarra River, casting a soft glow on people sipping coffee at street cafes. Founded in the early 1800s as a humble settlement on gold-rich land, Melbourne grew rapidly. Its grand Victorian-era buildings and botanical gardens a reminder of both ambition and fortune-seeking. Yet behind the city's dynamic skyline is a gentle warmth where strangers linger in conversation and art quietly shapes everyday lives.